Well, this is a classic mid-table clash as we move within sight of the middle of the league season. Two teams whose form suggests they're well capable of kicking on and making themselves genuine contenders for the playoffs in the springtime. But for those aspirations to stand a chance of becoming reality, they know they have to win games like this. Here are the teams, starting with Newcastle. Joel Hodgson's performance at Northampton last weekend was sufficient to see him retain the fly-half role, though Dean Richards has rejigged things elsewhere in the back line. Mike Delaney slots in at full-back, with Alex Tate shifting to the wing. Fred Burden replaces Don Waldock in the midfield. Up front, Evan Olmsted is straight back into the side after almost a month away with Canada. He fills the vacancy at lock, left by Callum Green's suspension. Yet another weekend for John Kingston without his significant contingent of England players. Add to that list Nick Evans, whose hand injury gives Tim Sweel the chance of another extended run at fly-half. The good news on the international front involves the return from Wales of Jamie Roberts. Jack Clifford is back for the second straight week, and Quins will be hoping it's not the second time this weekend an Australia captain tastes defeat. They're led by the former Wallaby, James Horwell. Well, the head-to-heads to focus on. Both teams have international teammates and recent world champions in their lineups. Newcastle back row forward Callum Chigg was part of the England team which won the under-20 title in Manchester during the summer. One of his teammates in that final against Ireland is in the Harlequins back line. Joe Marchant is a very special talent indeed, and he poses a different but potentially equally effective threat to that of his midfield partner, Jamie Roberts. There are those back lines. Carl Dixon at scrum half today. Tim Sweel, you can see they're fitting in at fly half, up against Joel Hodgson, a young man who was born and raised in this city before spending a brief time away down at the Northampton Saints. So Kingston Park filling up. It's a fairly chilly Sunday afternoon, but I must say the quality of rugby that's been played here, well, it's significantly improved in the last couple of years. I think two fundamental reasons for that. One, of course, the input of their director of rugby, Dean Richards, and the other thing which is undeniable is the replacement of the old pitch for the plastic one you can see there. It really has led to a far better quality of 80 minutes that we tend to see here week in, week out. Newcastle aside, who for the last 2 or 3 seasons have been scrambling to try and avoid relegation, well, they now have themselves, certainly their sights, fixed not just on mid-table, but even a place in next season's senior European competition. There is Dean Richards. We just caught a glance of John Kingston, his opposite number, and his old mucker. The two used to, of course, work together when Dean Richards was down at Harlequins.
Right then, ladies and gents, please welcome our visitors to Kingston Park
So,
this afternoon.
James Horwell back a couple of weeks after that pretty ugly finger injury, which he picked up in the defeat at Leicester. And it's a Harlequin side without the input, of course, of their England players. Charlie Matthews will be joining James Horwell there in the centre. There is Jamie Roberts and Joe Marchant. That's quite a combination there in the centre.
Right then, ladies and gents, looking to make it back-to-back wins.
So Newcastle looking to make a second straight victory, back-to-back wins, led out by Mark Wilson, the captain for the day. No Will Welch, he's not here, so it's a slightly remodelled back row. Ali Hogg, who's played more than 100 games in the Aviva Premiership now after a long extended period up in Edinburgh. And Callum Chigg, who is very much a young man for the future. And Berenik Igonova, who is at the heart of so much which is good these days about Newcastle. So important to see him back last week, and he of course picked up the winning try down at Franklin's Gardens against Northampton. So Newcastle, they've won 2 of their 4 games at home so far this season, looking to make it 3. The referee for the occasion, Ian Tempest, there he is. The television match official, David Grassoff. And the assistants, Tim Wigglesworth and Gareth Cobson.
Ladies and gents, let's do it one more time. Make some noise for your
So it will be Joel Hodgson who'll get us underway. Newcastle, whose great strides this season have been evident away from Kingston Park, against Harlequins, who always seem to forget to take their travel sickness pills. Well, alongside me, our very own Adrian of the North. Good afternoon, Mr. Flatman.
Good afternoon. Interesting start, actually. Well, not interesting. Not great from Newcastle, I would say. It's an interesting kick-off tactic to kick it so far that no one can possibly chase to compete, and to kick it to their fullback, who's desperate to get the ball in his hands under no pressure and clear his lines. It just makes it really easy for Harlequins.
Rob Buchanan edging closer and closer to his 100th appearance for Harlequins. This is 99. The first carry there from Horwell. Carl Dixon, the scrum half. Jamie Roberts, glad to be back at Harlequins. Things haven't gone entirely his way on the international front in recent weeks. An early touch there as well for Tim Fisser on his return to Newcastle. He's been to Edinburgh in the meantime, but this is actually the first time he's played at Kingston Park since he left here. It's where he started off his career. So there's Dixon again. Tim Sweel. Oh, that's a break through the middle there from Aaron Morris. Another outstanding talent. Young man who came through the England Under-20 set-up in his first season at Harlequins.
Well, we're going back for the penalty here, Martin, because I think it was Callum Chick that made the tackle, got up and got in the way of scrum half Carl Dixon. The tackler there, Callum Chick jumps off the floor. I don't know, I guess, hey, that's a penalty, but there are going to be bodies in the way. I don't think he knows it's Carl Dixon. Carl Dixon taking a particularly lateral line. I don't know, I sort of feel like there are times when you've got to get on with it a little bit.
Hold, lads, hold!
Well, Sweel fails to make his touch. Brave error so early in the contest.
Put him on!
Sweel gets another crack at it. Finds Mike Delaney. Delaney, the All Black on show today. Just one cap for the All Blacks, but it's all it takes. And that against Italy at the San Siro. Not a bad place to make your international bow, is it? Joel Hodgson, preferred at fly half today for Newcastle. Plenty of kicking, not out of the top draw though.
Hasn't been a good one yet. Forwards might as well just stay where they are. They're wasting all this energy doing shuttles.
Well, Delaney knew that he touched that before it went back into the 22, so he didn't have the option of going for touch. Somebody will find touch at some point. There's Sweel. Across comes another man who's equally comfortable at fullback. Alex Tate looks up. Good positioning there from a loafer, and that was almost basketball style, the catch. Here's Aaron Morris. Mike Young is under it, but Morris it is. The additional inches that he has proving a significant advantage, but I think it's turned over. Newcastle have it. They know they want to hit Quins hard here and hit them early. Quins, not just without a victory in the Aviva Premiership away from home, without a single point. It's quite a statistic when you compare that with just how difficult they've been to dislodge at home. But Charlie Matthews pops in, and here's Horwell, and Horwell's got the support of Chisholm. Chisholm, can he get it away? They needed just one additional pass. Oh, and it's there, but then it's Jamie Roberts who fumbles it forward. And now perhaps the pressure is in the opposite direction. Back goes Morris. Will Whitty it is, and Morris just, well, he coasted past the lock, didn't he?
Please!
That was Joe Marchant out to Fisser. Charlie Matthews. We talk continuously about, or frequently at least, about England's success at under-20 level. Charlie Matthews is another one who came through that programme. Dixon. There is Matthews again. On to Morris. The floated pass out to Fisser. Fisser chips ahead. Well, he was looking for the bounce, it didn't go to him, and that landed really right in the breadbasket of Luke Wallace. He should really have taken that. Well, they've had 2 clear chances so far, Quins, unable to take either.
I tell you what, if Luke Wallace takes that and offloads it to his right, I think it's Joe Marchant to his right. That's try time. All started by a lovely miss pass. It looked unnecessary out to Visser from Morris. It was a lovely pass, cutting out a few defenders. Visser, big man, but that's a delicate chip. Horrible bounce for Young. If only Wallace could have gathered that, he had an easy 2-on-1 with Marchant. Delaney gets lucky.
Well, he was clearly caught by surprise, but that's only partially a mitigation. But as you say, straight into the hands, and there was a man to his right.
Bind!
So on the loose head side there, Rob Vickers, man who turned 35 on Friday. Newcastle's most experienced, or should I say, longest serving player. Ali Hogg with a pick up there at the base. Michael Young just directing the traffic. He's become Michael after a period as Mickey, hasn't he?
I knew him as Mickey for years. I don't know why. Maybe he's come over all posh.
Well, he's done that since he's come back north. Here's Dixon. Another carry from Horwell. Horwell, who captained the Wallabies at the World Cup 5 years ago when they got through to the quarter-final. In fact, got through the semi-final, didn't they? They beat South Africa. Horwell got that try in the quarter-final against the Springboks in the Cake Tin at Wellington. Dixon continues to work the narrow side to Joe Marchant, onto Rob Buchanan. Well, Buchanan perhaps hanging on a little bit too long there, but he's got away with it. Here's Sweel. The carry from Matthews, just looking to try and punch 1 or 2 holes in this Newcastle defensive line. One man who can do that is Roberts. Morris was in there. There goes Wallace. That's a powerful carry. Then the offload. It's certainly an encouraging start here from Harlequins. They've only won here once in the last decade. They get the penalty.
Well, all that momentum comes through the tackle through which Luke Wallace busts. He finds himself coming in almost at that where you'd imagine a fullback to be hitting the line. Alex Tate hits him chest to chest. Not going to work when you're not a huge guy yourself and you're hitting a back row. He's going to be physically stronger than you are. That tackle's burst. Suddenly all the defence kind of panics, kind of scrambles. Processes aren't obeyed. And momentum lands with Quins. It looks a pretty difficult kick, this. It's usually windy here. Is it windy today? I didn't notice. My hair doesn't blow.
It's not too bad out there by Kingston Park standards. Yes, it's a venue you tend to associate with those cold, wet and windy and muddy Friday nights. Well, they've certainly moved one dimension away from the list of possibilities with this glorious 4G surface. And that is straight out of the middle. And Harlequins get the first score of the day. Tim Sweel.
Very good kick, that. He was really good last week, Tim Sweel. Nick Evans went off early against Bath. Sweel was fantastic. Close to being the best player on the pitch last week. Looked great, ball in hand.
Yes, and Tim Sweel, almost every time he puts on the jersey, he's got to prove himself. They've got the Greek god coming next season, Dimitri Katrakilis from Montpellier. An interesting signing that. So here goes Delaney. When it comes to moniker, or monikers I should say, the Greek god for a name like Katrakilis is not the most original, is it?
No, I thought more of you. That's the sort of penalty you see against Lambert where it's easy for a referee because the picture painted is of a big old unit who won't roll out the way. But I ask you as you watch this to tell me how he can get out the way. He's trying to roll out. They're holding him in with their shins and knees. I think it's Callum Chick holding him in. He can't get out. So it's easier to pin somebody down for a second than it is to get up when you're pinned down. The ball was there, just play.
So Callum Chick learning the old tricks early. Ones that were second nature to men like you, Mr. Flatman.
Certainly not, ever.
Lawson goes short. It is to Callum Chick. Good flat pass there to Socino, the Puma. Here's Hodgson. Oh, and well, that was a pass very much out of the Draw of a Greg Chappell or an Ian Chappell in the slips there. Joe Marchant rips it away. Here's Wallace again. On to Mark Lambert. Holding on to him, wearing 7 today, Mark Wilson. Such a vital cog in this Newcastle wheel. Mark Wilson, good carry there from Jack Clifford. There's Morris. Impressed with Morris here. His first season at Quins since the move from Saracens, where he spent a lot of his time out on loan and those dual registration deals with clubs like Bedford. Here's Horwell. Just inside the Newcastle half. Roberts again. Here's Jack Clifford. Yes, Clifford hurt his ankle in September, had surgery, was expected to be out for about 12 weeks, but came back a couple of weeks early. Turned over by Newcastle. Here's Olmsted, the Canadian. Carries it just inside Quinn's territory. There's Michael or Mickey Young. Delaney floats the ball out. That was superbly weighted. Saucino.
He's on his way down, play on, no tackle.
Well, was there just a little bit of a tip there on his ankle? Hodgson. The carry there and the tackle, perhaps a little bit high. Hodgson again. Oh, straight through Ali Hogg. Almost got through. Hodgson. Superbly weighted pass, but unfortunately there was nobody on the end of it.
Well, you can tell absolutely that Newcastle have come to play flat in the faces of the Quins defenders. We've seen one interception from Charlie Matthews already.
Be careful.
Hodgson tries to take out that last defender, Olofra who's flying up to feed the speed. Scotty Lawson on the wing, but it drops a bit low. But a couple of phases earlier on the far touchline, you saw Mike Delaney skip again. Tim Visser, as he flies up in defence, just let him fly up, pop that ball flat in behind that defender. It's brave stuff, taking the ball to the line, but Saucino was away. Good aggressive play from the Falcons.
Open.
Yes, it's been something of a tactic, hasn't it? That floated flat pass, which I know in some respects does run the risk of an interception. But it's all about the timing, and we've seen it from both sides to some effect so far today. Charlie Matthews there with a catch.
Out now, out. Thanks.
Here's Carl Dixon. Gonever's call for it. Takes it well, the Fijian.
Thanks, Gareth. Good management.
He wasn't involved in the November internationals, principally because of the hamstring injury which kept him out for so many weeks. Saucino making another hole in that defence. Hodgson with a change of direction. Here is Gonever. He's as broad as a bus, isn't he, Gonever? Big and powerful. Evan Olmsted, who started for Canada in all 3 of their November internationals. Wilson plays all across the back row when required. Mark Wilson.
Quins are a mile off, the ref's got them there.
He's got his arm out, hasn't he? Tate coming off his wing, he's got Young alongside it.
Oh,
the
great step
from the scrum half. That was magnificent from Newcastle. They're playing with so much confidence.
Lovely, lovely step from Mickey Young. I tell you what, Aaron Morris has started this game beautifully under the high ball and in attack. But you want the main difference between him and Quinn's first choice fullback Mike Brown. Mike Brown does not miss that tackle. Equally, that Newcastle attack dealing beautifully with the hard pressing line speed of Quinn's. Easy 2-on-1. You've got to make those. You've got to make those if you want to be an elite fullback. Do all you want, ball in hand. Mickey Young's got good feet, but you've got to get a hand on him at least. Leaves Luke Wallace no chance. Quins are flying up in defence. They're almost out and in. The line speed is huge. Newcastle are playing those flat balls through Hodgson and Delaney to the wide channels, over the top or behind even those edge defenders for Harlequins. And when they come back inside through Saucino and Tate, they're making yards on the inside. They're attacking beautifully.
So Joel Hodgson, the formality of making the 5 points worth 7.
The Newcastle Falcons scrum on number 10, Joel Hodgson.
Well, there may be some debate over whether it's Michael or Mickey Young, but there are no questions about the quality of that step. That was magnificent stuff, wasn't it? He really is a solid professional. Sweel with the restart. Delaney with a bit of protection from the big fellas in front. There's the try scorer. Whitty.
Tackle!
Stands over 2 metres
He's
tall.
moving, he is moving!
There's Orwell rolling, trying to get out the way.
Outside, lads. Or onside.
Here's Morris. Swill, all putting pressure there on Jamie Roberts. Saucino's having a blinder, isn't he?
Not on ball, not on ball.
Here's Orwell, the captain. Morris. Chisholm. Part of the, well, it's the three troikas of Chisholm's, isn't it? 3 have played for Quins at various times. Ross, the full-back. There is a third brother who played once, I think, for Harlequins A. Here's Jack Clifford. A World Cup winning captain with the England under-20s. That was in 2013, the year before Maro Itoje. Here's Tim Fisser. And Fisser into touch.
Staunch defence from Burden, then Tate.
Ricky, if men are coming
It's a couple of big collisions we've seen from Tate now since he missed Luke Wallace.
Yeah.
Perhaps he has redemption on the
Step,
mind,
please,
something
gents.
like that. Quinn's looking to make
Only one, yeah.
yards down the edges in those 5-yard channels. Newcastle so far have them covered. If they're going to make ground to the middle, they're going to need to get the ball quickly to Jamie Roberts rather than lobbing hospital passes out like that, lining him up for the defence.
Rock!
So the Falcons leading by 7 points to 3. There's Fisser underneath it. Tim Fisser there. Had his first representative game, one of the England age groups, as a lock forward. A loafer. On to Jamie Roberts. Here's a loafer. Great offload to Morris. That's the sort of play we associated with Quins, 4 years ago when they won this title. Here's Mark Lambert. Matthews caught there on the ground, but it's a penalty against Newcastle.
Up. 2. Off it.
Scotty Lawson's been pinged there for going off his feet. I think the final image is him in a good position, poaching that ball. But let's watch what he does first. There, he's off his feet there, hits the elbows, and bounces back up. You can't do that. If you hit the ground, you've got to get out the way. You can't get yourself back to your feet from an illegal position.
Hoggy.
Yeah, Scotty Lawson is a
If
bit
men
like
are arriving
a bit
late
like a
into the
burglar
breakdown,
carrying a swag bag.
yeah.
He just looks guilty, doesn't he?
Yeah, and usually he is,
They
actually.
must not stand in front of the ball.
Played against him a few
If it
times
happens
myself.
again, I'm
Crafty
penalising
old
with
boy.
a penalty. Yeah. Open down. Don't arrive late.
There's Rob Buchanan.
Open.
Very competitive position hooker at Quins. They've got Joe Gray, full England international. Dave Ward, who often has to double up as a back row forward. Dave Ward, if he plays today, it'll be his 100th appearance for Quins. Buchanan making his 99th here. Joe Gray not in the 23 this time.
Still moving.
Edging their way inside the Newcastle 22.
Once 9!
It's making steady progress at the moment. Carl Dixon's got it.
Still moving.
Still moving though. There's Roberts. Marchant. Swiel. A loafer. Can he get it away? Oh, he can. And he's gone on here to Morris. Can he get the final pass away? Marchant was alongside him. There's a loafer. For the 3rd time in the first 18 minutes, it needed just one more pass there for Quins. The danger hasn't gone though for Newcastle. Here's Jack Clifford. Such a powerful carrier. Not the biggest number 8. Here's Fisser. Over the top. Onto Buchanan. And they get the score.
Really nicely worked try from Quins. The finish was somewhat agricultural from Buchanan, but it's what it needed. But some lovely interplay, some lovely offloading, some crisp passing. Jack Clifford gets a ball that kind of stops him. It wasn't a great pass off the deck, landed below knee height, arrived below knee height. As we look at the finish, Young does his best, but Buchanan's a big old unit. Yeah, try time. Easy
Yeah,
call.
I beg your pardon, David. They were just going through the formality of checking the grounding. Perhaps also the right foot, but there's nothing wrong with that, is there? That's fine.
That's fine.
Water? Yeah. Cheers, man.
Try 500 quid, score number 2, Rob Buchanan.
So a good strike with his first attempt from Tim Swill. Let's see if we can follow it up with this one. It's been an encouraging start from both sides. I think it's going to be a decent afternoon. Great opening quarter, a try apiece. Look at the tightness of that angle. Well, a decent enough strike, but didn't really trouble the posts.
Fine.
It's really nice from Malofa to take out 2 defenders. Swiel gets lucky from Cecino's tip on.
Time off, Mike, please. Time off.
Decent ball retention, good body positions from some outside backs at the breakdown. That's risky from Visser, bearing in mind the athlete in Gonova over whom he's lobbing that ball. Somebody with the best standing jump on the field, but it worked nicely.
Quins!
Yes, I think
All
that
onside.
Northampton would endorse that point from 9 days ago.
Yep.
Here's Gonova. Hodgson. Delaney. Held up by James Chisholm. James Chisholm at number 8 these days. Once was the Sussex high jump champion, would you believe? Hodgson. Here's Will Whitty. Whitty, tallest man on the pitch.
Behind the ball! Behind the ball! Okay, fine.
Young. Well, that's too deep, isn't it? Inside the 22. Comfortable for Tim Swill.
10. 10.
Good 10 yards too long, that. Just give Quins an absolute let off. Easy for Swiel.
Wait block, wait
Hodgson.
block.
Well, he looks up, sees some space. Well, I guess from that sort of range, fortune plays something of a part, but when you do it like that, you just have to tip your hat, don't you?
Well, the Quins lads are all saying it went straight out. Nope. Right call from the touchy.
5.
There's a bit of luck in there, but a lot of skill.
Yes, another thing about these artificial surfaces, you can't do a John McEnroe and say, look, did you see the chalk dust flying up? Mind you, it's only in summer here, I think, at Kingston Park, where you get chalk dust.
Behind the ball, White!
So, Dixon.
Wingers on.
Gonova again. Oh, and didn't really fully commit
Ball
himself
off
to
the leg
that.
for me. Gareth.
Didn't get quite underneath it.
Thanks.
Here's the carry from the big fella, Davy Wilson.
That's what the crowd came to see, isn't it? 20 stone on the hoof. Beautiful.
Socino, that was a coming together as well. Well, Quins have got a man down. It's Charlie Matthews. Appears to be holding, is it his arm, his shoulder? Here's Delaney. Looking to poke it over the top. On to take, there's Olmsted. Referee says that's flat. There's Michael Young. Good head down, Rob Vickers there. Showing his gymnastic qualities. Socino. Little dummy, wasn't bought by Jack Clifford. Delaney that time, the offload to Young. This is good stuff from Newcastle. Living dangerously that time though. Olmsted finds himself alone out wide. How close was that to an interception? Such are the margins at the quality of this league, and there goes Will Whitty storming through. Great tackle from Clifford. Morris, after a fumble, eventually gets it down.
When somebody makes a break like that, flies through, all it needs to hang on to the ball, you can almost guarantee if it's a front 5 forward, he'll either drop it when he lands or he'll try and offload it to someone who isn't there. And he manages, I think he manages both actually. After all that good work, Charlie Matthews, injured on the floor in a lot of pain, stood up by the way and made 2 really important tackles as soon as he stood up. He's still in pain now, tough boy.
But what about this fella, Jack Clifford, who will have seen men in white making strides, and if you get off the England train for whatever reason, whether it's injury or whatever, well, it's left the station when you get back, and Jack Clifford knows that he needs some big performances over the next few weeks if he is to get back into the England squad and really make an impact when we get to the Six Nations.
Time on, let's go.
And hey, he's right there. He's right there with another bunch of guys that England could pick, and Eddie Jones would be confident to do a good job for them. He absolutely could play, I would say 6, 7 or 8 for England and do a good job. Right now he'd be, well, he's definitely behind Billy Vunipola, definitely behind Nathan Hughes at 8. I'd say he's more of a 6 or 7 option. Although Eddie Jones says he sees him more of a number 8, he ain't going to start at number 8 for England if those guys are fit at the moment.
Yes, and if you go back to his junior days, that's where he was playing at 8, and most people even then could see that he wasn't going to be the biggest number 8, and perhaps his future was at 6. He has been away with the England squad in the last 10 days, so still very much front of mind for Eddie Jones. That Quins pack going forward. It's done well, hasn't it, this season, by and large, the Quins pack?
Yeah, that'll be a lot to do with Graham Rowntree arriving as forwards coach and taking over the scrum. Someone like Will Collier, look at the shape of Collier, he's 6'2". He's got such beautiful shape. Vickers is struggling on the angle. He's struggling for outright power there. You've got a hooker converted to prop against a big natural technician at tight head. Sinclair's the guy at Quins that gets most of the attention because he perhaps has a lower work rate than Will Collier, but a higher impact, and that grabs the headlines, and he is indeed a special talent. But Collier's very, very good tight head. Played over 100 games for Quins now, almost just quietly played over 100 games for Quins on the tight head, and that takes some doing.
So Buchanan, who's almost there as a hooker. Will Whitty throwing himself in there. For a moment it looked like he might have turned it, but the referee decides it went forward.
Knock on, scrum. Scrum 15. Knock on the air.
When the ref called that, I think I saw Will Whitty chin himself. I think he actually, to punish himself, he gave himself a little tap on the jaw.
Let's go. Okay. Come on, Whitty.
So harsh a critic of himself that he's actually whacking himself now. Good on him.
Stay off him. Elbow.
Shaking it off now, look.
I was going to say, he might have jarred his neck in the process.
Yeah.
Yes, despite those performances on the road, the first win in donkey's years away in the league at Gloucester, and then that rather spectacular victory, Veronica Goniver streaking for 80 metres to pick up the winning try at Franklin's Gardens last week. They have looked a little bit vulnerable at home this season, Newcastle. So important to get that victory here. Tim Fisser with the carry. There's Dixon. Clifford. Just inside the Quins half.
Not now, not now, look!
Quins leading by 8 points to 7. 27 minutes have gone in no time. I'm sure some of it's your company, David, but it has actually been a good opening half hour, hasn't it?
Yeah, really good fun. A lot of that, I think, is to do with the surface, actually. It's so consistent that I think it makes it easier for other teams to win here as Quins concede the penalty. Good defence from Ali Hogg, Will Whitty and Young again. But I think it makes it less intimidating to come here because there's less nuance to the field. There's no nuance to the field. But I think it just means the ball stays grippier. The ground stays grippier. You can play a bit more.
Yes, there were some stats which were trotted out a couple of weeks ago which suggested that Newcastle kicked the ball less than everyone else. Maybe Dean Richards, perhaps, a man who goes back a bit in the game, looked at them and thought, hang on. Maybe the opportunities this new surface offers us may not be entirely working our own way. We've got to go back to one or two traditional virtues.
Okay, lads, Quins open.
The sort which no doubt he extols and has done for a number of years. But another good attacking position here for the men in black. Yeah, they won on the opening night here in the league. And Sale had a penalty right at the end with the final kick to win the match. And when that sailed wide, there were 1 or 2 fans here. They've been through some troubled times at Kingston Park. Thought, well, maybe this season is our season. And at the moment, it's working very well indeed. There goes Alex Tate, coming off his wing. Oh, and through goes Saucino, and Saucino breezes through. A second try for Newcastle, our third here in the opening half hour. And this match is really serving up a treat. And Dean Richards even breaks into a smile, and that's something of a collector's item.
It was either a smile or he had a bit too much of that curry in the media room. This great alertness from Cecino. Quins asleep, Jack Clifford asleep on the blind side. So important from set piece that you have a blind side marshal. Usually it's the prop at the front of the line out, or at least the prop at number 3 in the line out will stay because he's too big and heavy to get round the far side quickly. He will stay and marshal the defence. No one's marshalling there, no one's closing that gap between breakdown and first defender. Cecino's been fantastic the last few weeks. Sees a gap, easy try.
Well, picture paints 1,000 words, doesn't it? And looking there at John Kingston, it told us all we need to know. And Joel Hodgson, who's assumed the kicking duties from Mike Delaney in recent times. And there's the try scorer of the Puma, and it's the local lad who adds the extra 2.
Conversion for the Newcastle Falcons. Score by number 10, Joel Hodgson.
Hodgson gathers the restart.
All on.
So important, you get this exit from your own 22 from the restarts. And Aaron Morris comes through, the referee's blown his whistle. Obstruction.
Not you, he blocks a potential tackle.
I don't know if Quins get an opportunity to take a shot at goal from long range. This fella Aaron Morris can knock them over from 55, 60 metres. He's got a huge boot on him. The odd defensive frailty might have been exposed a bit earlier, but he's certainly an exciting talent, as is this man.
Take the line, Quins,
Every
please.
team needs leaders, needs one of them is Luke Wallace. When they won the Anglo-Welsh Cup a few seasons ago, Luke Wallace had the captaincy throughout.
7, thanks.
Here's Scott Lawson. He's been in this league
Stay over 15.
for a decade. Inside there to Tate, and Tate has coasted through. Well, Morris that time did stand up and make the tackle, and how important was that? 1.5 metres out, they're up and over the line. The referee trying to get the best angle. Newcastle are convinced they've scored.
Time off.
Well, this one belongs to David Grassoff.
David Grassoff, can you hear me?
Go ahead, Ian.
David, any reason I cannot award a try, please? I eventually have the ball on the line.
Okay. Any reason not to award the try?
Thanks.
Well, the wording of the question, David, means it's all in favour here of Newcastle. So it appears something of an inevitability that he'll award this.
Yeah, when the referee got eyes on it, he said it was on the line, therefore a try. Any reason he can't award it, he thinks it is a try. So do I.
Well, there might be more difficulty in identifying the scorer. I think it's Mark Wilson, the captain, perhaps, and may have got the final touch.
Yeah, that's down.
Ian,
Yep.
you may award the try.
Thanks, Dave.
Well, what an opening. 31.5 minutes now, and there is Mark Wilson, the captain, really leading from the front.
It's another try for the Newcastle Falcons. It's scored by number 7, Mark Wilson!
Well, place kickers, with an eye to their statistics, will lap up kicks like that all day long.
Well, the finish was all about power from Mark Wilson, but the damage was done at the set piece. The ball's taken to the line, fed back inside. Again, it's Charlie Matthews, but again the inside defence on that near side is exposed for Harlequins. No one is managing that touchline side defence from the line out. 2 breaks from 2.
Well, Mark Wilson is such a huge physical specimen. Impossible to stop from that range when he's got some momentum. And I've made the point already this afternoon, but he's such an important player for Newcastle. His versatility all the way across the back row. Wearing 7, deputising for the club captain Will Welsh today. but he's equally comfortable, if not more comfortable, at 6 or 8. Here's Swale, on to Jack Clifford. He can certainly add some dynamism to the affair.
Off 10, go 10.
Well, off goes Carl Dixon. A loafer, a loafer. Little step straight through Michael Young.
Leave him.
Missing out Matthews. Mark Lambert having to bend his back to pick that up around his bootlaces. Morris. Horwell. Here goes Chisholm. Chisholm through one tackle, up to 5 metres rather too easily, I'm sure, for Dean Richards. There's Matthews. Can Quins bounce back immediately? Mark Lambert wants it. They've got the heavy artillery lining up. Here's Mark Lambert. Dixon, Clifford, Swale. The bounce out to a loafer who left the ball behind. Well, the referee eventually deciding it went forward, but that not for the first time this afternoon. A chance squandered by the visitors.
Scrum, black ball.
The Newcastle defence looks in decent shape, but I actually think it's just the pace of Chisholm that takes everyone by surprise. No one expects him to go round the outside. They're almost forming up, ready to attend the ruck where he's going to be tackled. He makes an extra 5 yards. This is where the ball gets knocked on. So it may land behind him, but I'm guessing it landed in front of where it first made contact with his hands. It's a shame, it's an unforced error.
Yes, and by that point I'm sure that Quins were sensing that it was not just the ball that was slipping through their fingers, but the opportunity. The moment had passed. John Kingston, a penny for his thoughts.
Okay,
you do get a sense that they had the number of opportunities they've had here at home, they would have made them count.
Yeah. There is something, as a player, you can kind of arrive at a situation where you read in the paper that you haven't won away for however many months, and you didn't realise until that point, and then it becomes a thing. And then you go away from home, and the opposition play well, like Newcastle are playing now. They're really, really testing this Quins defence and coming out on top at the moment in attack in all sorts of different ways. That actually you get those demons, and we can't win away from home. You suddenly become less accurate, you panic a bit, and you cough up opportunities like Quins are now. Just popping his finger back in.
He doesn't want to look, does he? He's smiling bravely.
No, he'll be all right.
Have you been through that experience?
Yeah, it's fine. It's not as painful as it looks, actually. It's just something weird about looking at your fingers when they're facing the wrong way. But you whack them back in and they're okay generally.
Yeah, have a contest. Okay.
As long as it's only your finger that's facing the wrong way.
Yeah.
Okay, gents, I need to
when you see some of those ugly shots, which we have done with other limbs.
Yeah, I don't tend to look at those. I struggle with those a little bit. Yeah. But dislocated fingers, he'll be fine.
Yes, there was a lot of concern on the part of Newcastle to let us know at the start of the day that the two locks were switching jerseys, but when you look like Evan Olmsted does, you don't really need the number on the back of his jersey. I don't want to sound ungrateful to those here at Kingston Park, who are very helpful indeed, but he's one of those unmissable figures, isn't he?
You might also say that if you've got a couple of bent fingers when you look like Evan Olmsted, that's the least of your worries, frankly.
Thanks, lads.
You might say that. I wouldn't. I think he looks fabulous. There you go, bit of tape.
Okay, cheers.
Clench your fist a few times. All done.
Your security detail to get you out of the northeast safely will be joining us soon, David. So after the break, Newcastle with the put-in. Inside the last 6 minutes of the half, and it's been one of the most entertaining first 40s I've seen all season. Both sides have played their part in that. The carry from Ali Hogg, the veteran Scotland international, back to Hodgson, here in his second stint at Newcastle. Morris caught it at the second grab. That was rather impressive, though. Here's Tim Fisser. Wasn't a great pass, was it? Here's Fisser.
Thanks.
Dixon on to Matthews. Matthews back to Horwell. The cries of forward from the public enclosures in front of us. Morris again. Time to try and inject a bit of pace. Rob Buchanan, the man there, standing out on the flank, but with two on his back.
Use it! Behind
Mark
the ball!
Lambert
Behind
just
the ball!
trundling across. He'll need the 15-minute break shortly. Charlie Matthews. There's Dixon, time to go aerial. Hodgson underneath it, Goniver providing a bit of subtle protection.
Release tackle!
Head down from Rob
Behind the
Vickers. Not out of the middle from Michael Young. You can see the grimace across his face.
Ball's still alive, ball is still alive.
That is, his first couple of box kicks haven't been great. That is, respectfully, a new low
Take the line.
for Michael Young. That is, I think he's disgusted with himself.
Take the line, please.
We'll say no more about that.
Well, that's fine, we're playing. Let's go.
Well, a loafer has taken
Let's go.
a bit of a knock across the neck.
How many?
We could have had a bit of fun today, couldn't we, with his Samoan on the wing. A loafer up against Sanotti, but Sanotti not here today.
Yeah, so good they named him twice. Twice.
That's
And it all
my-
worked out.
That's my line, David.
Oh, sorry.
Matthews with a catch.
Advantage, 5 side entry.
Newcastle
Five.
penalised. Coming in from the side, Evan Olmsted.
Okay, just will stop now. 5 up the side. Mike, can you just put the ball down for me? I've got being told to head injury. So
It's always tempting when you're approaching the line out, when your opposition take the ball cleanly like that, when they land and you're approaching from behind, it's always difficult not to try and pile them directly towards that touchline. You want to get them to the touchline, but you've got to come in through the gate.
Well, we're just going to take a look at the tries that we've seen this afternoon. That was that great step from Michael Young. That almost gifted, really, by Quins. But here, the incision from Alex Tate was crucial. Eventually Mark Wilson it was, crashing over the line, sheer power.
Just a reminder, ladies and gents, the next home game is Lyon. We'd love to see you here.
He'll be a happy man though, won't he?
He will really happy. They've attacked really, really nicely. When Quins have flown up on the outside, invariably Newcastle have responded not by being flustered and looking under pressure, but by the chopping out that last defender, by lobbing the ball over his head and making him look silly and isolated, or cutting back inside with the likes of Cecchino, powerfully and targeting those big front five inside defenders and making ground. They're doing a brilliant, brilliant job.
Here, step.
Well, I guess the kick at goal was an option for Quins. They've certainly got the firepower out there. I mentioned Aaron Morris a bit earlier. But they trail by 13.
More. Okay.
A catch by Hall.
1-9 backwards. 5 out now.
Driven
You've
back
lost.
well there by Newcastle.
Use it.
Quins being urged to use it here. Carl
Use
Dixon
it!
will want to get his hands on the ball. He has done now and he's fumbled it forward. It's Hogg and Goniver's alongside him, who cuts inside up to halfway. Young, Hodgson, Olmsted gets through the tackle. The space opens for Olmsted. Socino on one side, he's got Tate on the other. He's still going, is Olmsted. Young, the little poke through, perhaps not the best decision, but the break there for Evan Olmsted, well, a sight to behold.
You just feel if they could have worked it back left, where they got Cecchino, Bird and Goniver, a couple of big units in the way too, they could have done something, but that all started really, really good maul defence from Newcastle. Every team expects the side to be ferocious 5 yards from their own line. When you're ferocious 25 yards from your own line, it can make a real difference and take the attacking team by surprise. Great defence, turning into great attack from Newcastle.
Will they now pressure the Rob Buchanan throw?
Okay, hold.
Well, it worked superbly well. Hall taking responsibility as the captain.
1-9.
Approaching the last minute of the half. Dixon. Well, the ball was in touch. Did he take it in though? No, he didn't, according to the assistant. Tim Wigglesworth over on the other side.
The last 2 times Newcastle have had a line out on this side of the field, which you're in a position you might call the Harlequins red zone or green zone, yellow zone, whatever you want to call it. quite near their line, let's call it that. They've tested that inside defence.
Line-out's over.
Not this time they've lost the ball, of course they have.
Full line out, gathered by the opposing hooker, Rob Buchanan.
Rock.
Well, they've got to try and make it count this time. We've got 20 seconds remaining in the half. Morris takes play up the halfway.
Not now, no!
Next stoppage, unless it's a penalty, will bring the half-time whistle. There's Mark Lambert.
For the owner of a Kia, that's a Kia multi-car with a
Dixon.
No.
Dummies to Roberts.
ESV.
The offload to Morris. A low for a loafer, caught in a tight spot.
Thank you.
Or into the red numbers. Matthews. Swill. Referee has blown his whistle. It's going to be a penalty.
Penalty only. Around the neck. 15.
Well, it's Aaron Morris who's been penalised.
15. It's half time.
What will Newcastle do here? Just pop it straight into touch?
I would do. Have a look at Aaron Morris coming in now, clearing out Elvin Olmsted. Yeah, round the net, yanks him away. Can't do that anymore.
Well, that is half-time of what has been a pretty enthralling first 40 minutes, which in the end has belonged to Newcastle. 3 tries. Well, they've picked up those 2 wins away from home this season, Newcastle. They want to reinforce that reputation, or that sort of reputation, here at Kingston Park. They're 3 parts of the way to the try bonus point, but what they'll look to do first of all, of course, is to get the result. Half-time at Kingston Park, Newcastle lead by 21 points to 8.
Ladies and gents, please welcome them back, leading by 21 points to 8. It is your Newcastle Falcons! And ladies and gents, please welcome back Harlequins.
Well, the first 10 minutes, particularly of this second half, David Blackman, will be a test of character to the visitors. They've yet to earn a single point on the road in the Aviva Premiership this season. They created opportunities in that first 40, took just one of them, and they've come up against a Newcastle side who are inspired.
It's going to be fascinating, because Quins are going to be all out to score points, but actually what they've got to really concentrate on is their defence. They've been torn apart by Newcastle in that first 40 at times. They need to tighten right up. They need to watch out for those outside defenders being picked off easily by looping passes from Delaney or Hodgson. They need to strengthen up on the inside for those runners coming back in.
Well, an acrobatic catch there from Ali Hogg. Here's Young, the first of the scorers today. On to Callum Chick. Callum Chick, who last winter captained England's under-20s for a period. Wasn't the captain when we got to the World Championship in the summer in Manchester, but he was part of that starting 15 in the final. Here is Swill. Carl Dixon. Aaron Morris.
Put him on!
Hodgson's angle was very tight. Gives another crack at it for Aaron Morris.
Put him on! Wait!
Gonover. Well taken by the Fijian wing.
Well taken, but there's no competition at all. No Quins are gunning to take that or compete with Gonover in the air. Just an easy turnover.
And Mike Delaney has found some space. And that is a superb kick from Delaney.
It's a hell of a kick. But you got everyone with Quins up in the attacking line, so Sweel puts the kick up, nobody competes and gives it to Goniver. It's effectively a midfield turnover in slow motion. So it makes it easy for Delaney because everyone's in attack for Quins. It's not easy in terms of execution, but there's acres of space back there.
Ball.
The catch from the under pressure line out from James Horwell.
Same ball. Same ball. 7, up you go.
So Harlequins going into this last 40 minutes, trailing by 13. The only time they've been close to it, losing bonus point this season, on the road in the league, back in September. Here goes Delaney again. Little skip. Hodgson with the inside pass. Hodgson, little dummy. Socino. Through goes Whitty. They've come offside of Quins. They've got a spare man. They don't need the spare man. And Socino, the Argentinian, who's proved a real hit in these parts, gets the 4th score. Newcastle are looking rampant.
He's done it again. It's another try for the Newcastle Falcons.
This is brave, prepared,
Socino.
top of the range attack from Newcastle Falcons. Ball comes really flat to the line. Young feed Socino really flat. Whitty just takes, as the outside defenders are coming up further to try and push Newcastle back in. Marchant comes up further than Roberts, leaves a gap in between them. Whitty aims at that gap. Both get a hand on him, neither get a shoulder, and he's through. Helps being about 9 feet tall with arms that long, gets the ball away. And again, the Quins' defence is picked apart.
And somebody who deserved a mention there, Fred Burden. Burden selected to start today. Lovely little offload there to Socino. £26-8. This Quinn side, I know they're depleted by England call-ups, but they are unrecognisable to the side we see week in, week out at the Twickenham Stoop. Well, what little breeze there is out there is pushing from left to right if you're playing to that end. Look at the touch from Burden, the break there from Whitty, but that's nice, isn't it, from the centre? Look out of the back of the hand.
Really, really nice from Burden. Good support play, having fed the pass from Socino. But it's just those little defensive errors. So Marchant moving up. He's only 18 inches in front of Roberts, but that's all you need. It gives you a gap, it gives you a dog leg to run into, and just makes it easy for the attack.
He's talking about Fred Burden. Earned a first-class honours degree from Cambridge University in chemistry. Clearly identified by Dean Richards as the catalyst to spark the reaction in this Newcastle backline. That was a line right out of your book. Here's Morris. Clifford. Dixon. Kicks crossfield. Well taken by Goniver.
Tackle!
Socino. Hodgson.
Taken in!
Backpedaling there was Tim Fisser.
Put him on! Wait, wide!
Haven't seen Fisser given too many chances to run today. Delaney.
Put him on! Wait, block! Up the 10!
That's one for Morris. A couple of grabs at
wide.
it.
Oh, great kick. That's a shame. I thought we were in for another serve and volley session. Thought we were back to tennis. That was a great kick.
Take a line.
Whether he meant it entirely or not, who cares? Put them in a lovely position. As long as Quinn stays sharp in this line out, put Newcastle under some pressure.
That's fine.
Evan Olmsted.
In 5.
Real jack-in-a-box there at the front of that lineup. That was rather reminiscent of Jean-André Crier. I remember him in his couple of years at Northampton. Jet-heeled at the front of that Saints lineup. Here goes Fisser. Offload there to Matthews. Well, picked up on the bounce by Morris. Now they've got numbers and space. Here's Jamie Roberts cutting inside. Oh, and Wallace couldn't gather it. Second time today, Tim Fisser getting the ball in hand, help create the open spaces there. 10 years ago that Tim Fisser made his professional rugby debut on this ground for Newcastle. Do you know who he replaced when he came off the bench? A certain Johnny Wilkinson. He'd been on the pitch about 2 minutes and he received a pass from another rather famous name, Matt Burke, who I think was playing full-back in those days for Newcastle, and Fisser scored his first try, 2 minutes into his debut. 10 years on here, he's making his return for the visiting side, Harlequins.
And as Roberts hit that ball at pace, he looked to offload quick before the defence perhaps expected him to. I don't think Luke Wallace was expecting that ball.
Set.
So the pick up there from Ali Hogg. Here's Young. Witty there, took the evasive action, and Hodgson gets it away well.
Substitutions for Harlequins coming off for the board. Charlie Matthews, number 10, Tim Swill, and number 14, Alofa.
A really good kick that from Hodgson.
George Merrick, 22.
Had to duck back inside, bit of pressure onto his left boot. Really good. Best part of 40 yards made.
Well, Harlequins have made some alterations and they've brought on one of the quickest, if not the quickest man in the Aviva Premiership, Charlie Walker. Alofa has gone off. There's a carry from certainly one of the most powerful men in the midfield in the league, Jamie Roberts. That was Horwell. Up and running again, the former Wallabies captain. Dixon. There's Morris. There's Roberts. Here's Charlie Walker. They came through the Leicester Academy. Still plenty of time on the clock, if they're good enough for Quins to come back here. Half an hour remaining, Carl Dixon getting it tangled between some legs. Quins have also brought on George Merrick, who's made a bit of a name for himself this season. Also caught the eye of Saracens, I understand. Recent news suggests he's staying at Harlequins.
He'd be a great signing for any club in the Premiership, actually. Good young player, he's very big.
Go guys, come on.
Being very big is only helpful if you're very good. He's also very good. And a good big and often beats a good Litland. Martin, you know that. As I tower over you here, big side.
Yes, George Merrick was one of the stars with the big Saracens at home. I'm talking about this season rather than last. He's certainly a big one, isn't he?
Set.
There's James Chisholm.
Okay,
We've
wait.
seen his athleticism today. There's confirmation those changes that have been made.
Thank you.
The other one, Rory Jackson, the Scotland international, on for Tim Swill. So here's Morris. Bouncing off and through Ali Hogg. There's Rory Jackson. Here's Mark Lambert. Back to Dixon. Found some space there, but that's just going to bounce and run, and Joel Hodgson can pirouette.
All way black.
He's looked all right tonight, as Joel Hodgson, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's looked well tonight. It's a funny tactic that it's a couple of times now Quins are trying to pin Newcastle back. Frankly, I'm not sure why. The back three's never, or the backfield at least, has never looked particularly vulnerable to aerial attack or particularly out of position. You almost feel like if Quins are going to win, they need to get back to what they do best, which is keeping the ball in hand, working up some real attacking tempo, not kicking the thing away.
There's the carry from Clifford. Walker was tracking on the inside. Jackson, Roberts, on to Joe Marchant.
Tackle!
Joe Marchant, another of those exciting young talents to come through the England under 20 setup. There goes Horwell. Here's Merrick waiting for it. Well, they missed him out that time to Lambert. Rory Jackson. Another carry from Jamie Roberts. Jack Clifford. Dixon. Oh, and Rory Jackson upended the tackle there from Fred Burden. Corwell. There's Merrick.
No,
Look at
five!
Olmsted competing for it. Roberts dips his shoulder. Callum Chick, I think, felt that. Here's Lambert. The inside pass. They're returning possession, but at the moment it's happening a bit too slowly for Quins. There goes Clifford. Powerful carry from the number 8. Is this the moment? Dixon turning and twisting and over the line. And the try's awarded.
Well, about 2 minutes ago we said why are Quins kicking it away, keep it in hand, develop some tempo. Carl Dixon needs to get these forwards working to the far corner. You see Horwell, Lambert, Merrick running hard, Jamie Roberts running especially hard, dumping Callum Chick on his backside. Just makes it harder to defend. Defenders are constantly got to whip around the far side of the breakdown. They often overcommit, which means they're still moving away from the breakdown, trying to set up and get in position. When Carl Dixon picks and goes, they have to step back inside to get him. See, all defenders are moving out. They're all trying to flood round the far side. They're racing. It's a foot race, and he cuts back inside. It's clever play. Quins just look better with ball in hand than they do booting the thing downfield.
Yes, we don't often heap praise on referees, but they have to anticipate just as much as players do sometimes. And do you see the position that Ian Tempest got himself in? Perfectly positioned, didn't need the television match official. No help required for Rory Jackson either, who slots the conversion, and all of a sudden the scoreboard looks competitive again. It's been one of those days. 6 tries, and we've been playing just over 53 minutes. So I thought the carry here of Jack Clifford was quite telling. Gave it that little bit of momentum.
Just went for him to leave the field.
Good finish, wasn't it, by the scrum half?
Ball only.
Morris onto his preferred left foot. Here's Delaney. Olmsted just fending off the back row forward. Socino, Goniver. Didn't quite get that out of the middle. Joel Hodgson, well picked up on the half volley by Charlie Walker. Penalty high tackle from Newcastle. What is it that Charlie Walker's got on his head over there? It looks like a bit of a Bjorn Borg, circa 1975.
Well, I'm kind of hoping it's an aesthetic accessory rather than protecting an injury, because I think it looks great.
Yes, it's certainly more decorative than functional, isn't it?
Let's go. Open. Open.
Quins are in a great position now. They've got Luke Wallace out here. The tail of the line out. See if they use him.
There's Clifford. Rory Jackson. There's that floated pass again. Onto Fisser, who now can run. Oh, and the offload out of the back of the hand. Wasn't gathered by Morris, and it's gone forward. And another case, timed again. We saw it in the first half. In the bottom 22, in the red zone, if you like, where they couldn't quite make that last pass.
Visser did really well. Morris has got to take that. Like Wallace a couple of times, he almost hasn't predicted that offload. That was brilliant from Tim Visser. Did everything he needed to do. It looked like Tate had Morris covered.
Come on, lads.
Nevertheless, it's another opportunity coughed up to score. Of course, you've often got to take risks in situations
Right,
like
time
that.
off,
This
please.
did everything
If we
right.
delay, I'm winning a free kick.
Yes, you're right about Alex Tate getting across. He was in position there to make the tackle, but we all know if you make that pass,
Time
who
on.
knows what might happen.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
It has been the precision of Newcastle
Taken in.
that bottom quarter of the field, which is the difference between the sides. They lead by 11. Still, though, in the third quarter of the match, so plenty of time on the clock. Morris, Visser's looping around. Chooses not to give the big fella a chance to run at it. Ali Hogg. Rory Jackson is actually just getting some treatment, so temporarily Quins are down to 14.
Come off, 7!
That's the halfway line. Michael Young under Joel Hodgson. Here's Fred Burden, surveying the options. The captain Wilson, one of the try scorers. Newcastle
Use!
already have the try bonus point locked away safely, but they want another 4. Young.
Make
Hodgson.
sure you clearly come
Off
off.
the outside of the right foot. Sits up nicely though for Morris, who gets it away. Good positioning though for Mike Delaney, who's covering
Wait,
across. Delaney fires it, but just a bit too much on it.
Return to their car as soon as possible, thank you.
Well, I'm sure he'll say he's got tight margins. He's near the touchline. He's trying to work that channel. But that's a big unforced error from Mike Delaney.
Yeah, okay, I'll have a word.
The Quins have got a problem
Time
here,
off. Time off.
as we see when Pablo Socino go through, and that's the injury on Rory Jackson.
Anyone particular?
Well, he has replaced Tim Sweel, so if he's not fit to carry on, they have got a manpower problem, haven't they?
Back line, make sure our time is better, please. Okay.
Absolutely crucial for Quins that they get Rory Jackson back up and running. Man who's earned 30 caps for Scotland. There is Socino, a peripheral member of the Pumas squad at the last World Cup, which in itself is a compliment to the depth of quality that they've got in Argentina. Took a while for it to happen to him, for him here, didn't it, really, because he spent a few seasons in the Championship with Nottingham and I think it was Rotherham.
Yep, he's hit form now though. He's having a really good season up here.
Advantage. Knock on.
The ball just going forward there.
Situations like this where I think to myself, put yourself in the shoes of John Kingston, your Harlequins boss, and just think that's an absolute coach killer. That it's just another good position, forfeited. You've seen what Quins can do when they hang on to the ball. There's John Kingston looking on, probably asking one of the fitness coaches on the side to put some spray glue on the hands of every single player.
Crouch!
In the Quins team, a lot of ball going down.
Bind! Set!
Yes, Harlequins, 21 points this season, all of them at home. 21 points from a possible 25 at the Twickenham Scoop. But on the road, they have yet to earn a single point. The closest they've come in the second weekend when they made the trip up to the AJ Bell at Sale. They lost by 19 points to 10. Then the following week they went down to Exeter, played well there but came home with nothing, beaten by 36 points to 25. But since then they haven't really got a blowing away from home. Charlie Walker, can he change things for them?
Thank you, thanks Carl.
Jackson, restored. Here's Joe Marchant, takes on Burden. Jackson again, Jack Clifford, at pace. That was good from the number 8. Here's George Merrick. He gets no change at all out of Callum Chick.
Oh yeah, like that.
That was to Rob Buchanan. Wins in possession on the halfway line. 6 tries in the opening hour. It's been entertaining. That will be of little consolation to John Kingston, though, if Quins come away with nothing. Here's Wallace. Merrick. Dixon onto Jackson. The dummy to Clifford. Here comes Morris, he's got pace. The offload to Visser. Now Visser's away. The inside ball. And that is outstanding from Harlequins. At long last, Carl Dixon punches the air. His second score. It's Harlequins' third. Match on.
I just watched Harlequins a few phases earlier as Jamie Roberts missed out Joe Marchant to feed Luke Wallace on this near touchline. I wondered why he'd done that. They're clearly stretching that Newcastle defence out so Morris can come back and hit that wide channel with a bit more space. That's where they want Morris, in open space. Visser on his inside shoulder. 2 proper strike runners. Really, really nicely worked try. And hey, think back to that touch kick a couple of phases ago from the penalty that Newcastle missed. It starts to feel costly, doesn't it?
Mike, time off.
Good ball inside from Visser, looks easy that. What you really want is a little pop on the shoulder, but that's actually a proper pass inside at full chat with everyone screaming.
Yeah.
They're the little errors that go down so often.
3.
Decent bit of support
9.
play and good handling skills from Visser.
And look at the clock. We're only just into the final quarter of the match.
Where is the...
It has been entertainment all the way.
Time on.
Alterations being made in the front row. John Welsh is on. Morris underneath the restart. Just a sense the Quins' confidence is growing, and that's perhaps for the first time on the road this season. John Kingston has been chuntering away for much of the afternoon. Can he now start to believe?
Well, momentum's certainly back with Harlequins at the moment. You felt Newcastle might have stolen it back at the last scrum with a well-earned penalty by David Wilson. They missed touch. They concede points. Aaron Morris got a big old boot on in that left boot, pumps the ball long, puts them back in their own half.
Watch on the floor, Tim, please.
Well, Newcastle have brought on Tani Takalua. He was the Tongan hero 8 days ago when they beat Italy over in Padua, kicking that penalty from 40 metres, last kick of the game. Needs another big performance here in the last 20 minutes.
Lost!
In rather less fashionable environments. The carry from Whitty. There's Takalua. Hodgson onto Olmsted.
Not from me, Tim. Ball was lifted, mate, okay?
Delaney goes through. The tackle a little bit high. Perhaps an understatement. It was Rory Jackson. It'll be a penalty.
High tackle.
Perhaps a word in the ear of the Scotland international as well.
Yeah, just looked like poor technique, that. Proper fly half tackle. Swings the arm in. Yeah, a bit of a Butch James job that, wasn't it? You get those tackles from fly halves who don't really want to make tackles, and props who are too exhausted to get their technique right.
You talk about Butch James. I know you played with him, didn't you, down at Bath? He had a real problem in that regard. Imagine if Butch James was playing today. He'd be banned, I think, week after week after week, wouldn't he?
You called it a problem. We called it an asset. Rory Jackson is a reasonably efficient defender, but when someone moves on the outside of him like that, he just thought he could get the shot on him then. He probably needed to be less aggressive, actually, and just go low.
So Scott Lawson to Olmsted, who fumbles it. Takalua did the mopping up.
Wait, guys. Use it!
Who's got it now? Goniver. Good offload. Here's Takalua. Takalua tiptoeing down the touchline. Eventually put a foot onto it.
Come on then, Kingston Park, let's turn
It was a pretty hopeless situation, but he did rather well, did Takalua.
And it's just, that's the value of having a Nicky Goniver in your team. Takalua does nice, but look at Goniver. He's no right to get that away. He's either got enormous hands or incredibly grippy fingers, because that ball's like a cricket ball when he holds it.
Substitution for
That was real Noah Naikatathi style, wasn't it?
is number 17, Owen Evans.
Mike Atathi, the France and Clermont wing, who's made that something of his calling card.
Yeah, we've got,
So the alteration at loose head for Harlequins. Mark Lambert, his shift is done. He's replaced by Owen Evans, the Welshman.
Make sure you follow the ball around the scrum.
Played well, Mark Lambert, penalised in his last scrum,
Is he okay?
which always annoys a prop before he goes off. He wants to go off on a high.
No, he's just from the
He's
last
carried a
one.
lot of ball,
Yeah, line out.
made some good tackles.
Let's go. How many, lads?
He's a big old bear, Mark
How many?
Lambert. There's a lot of him. Best part of 130 kilos. But aerobically
How
very
many?
fit, contributes a lot over the course of the game.
Step out. How many numbers? 5. Thank you very much.
So, Buchanan. Well, Will Whitty sprung there. And Newcastle have got it. That was timely. They know they have to hit back. That was Rob Vickers. There it is for Takalua. On here to the captain, Mark Wilson. They get a sense they've got 4 tries, they need another, at least. Takalua, Ali Honk. Powerful carry from the Scotland international.
Advantage, 22. Advantage!
Penalty advantage here, they've got 3 points coming.
22, not rolling.
They'll probably need them and take them if they get the chance. But they want to go for 5 or 7 first. Well, the offload, the pass doesn't go to hand. Sashino recovers, and this looks encouraging. Gonover out to Olmsted. Every now and again,
If not, I'm going back for an advantage.
from apparently the most unpromising situation, something comes, and that might be a prime example.
I cannot award a try, please.
Ian, looking for any reason not to award the try.
Any reason I can't award a try,
Guess
otherwise I'm going back for
eye on
penalty.
his left foot here or his left leg.
David, I can't see the screen. This on you, mate.
No, it's nowhere near it. It's a try.
Well, it's almost as if
Ian?
Yep.
the defence took their foot off the gas there when
Yeah,
they
David.
saw the ball go
coming
to
you now.
ground. They knew
Ian,
there was a
you
penalty
may award the
advantage.
try.
Thanks, mate.
Just confirmation coming through from David Grassoff that the try is good. But it's almost as if people stopped a little bit there.
I think you're dead right, and I think as soon as Sosino does really well to get that away, and everyone panics when Gonover gets the ball. Walker doesn't want to leave him, which means he's late to get to Olmsted. Anybody other than Gonover, with the threat he offers, I think Charlie Walker goes earlier and leaves Clifford and Chisholm to cover inside. Chisholm's one of the quickest guys on the field, whether he's a number 8 or not. Charlie Walker didn't want to leave early because it was Gonover. That's the threat he offers.
Well, Quins have asked some questions of Newcastle in this second half. They have responded. That wasn't out the middle from Joe Hodgson, but they have the breathing space again. A match of 8 tries. It's had everything, including skills like that.
Hey, we talked about beginning of the second half, the character Quins were going to have to show, especially in defence. How about that? They came right back into it. How about that for character from Newcastle?
It's Hodgson. The ball just bouncing on the roof above us. Still 14 minutes remain.
Where we are,
Time for plenty more. And given the trend of the opening hour here,
Stay in 15.
you wouldn't bet against something else happening. Wasn't the straightest throw, but Ian Tempest is comfortable with it.
No legs, no legs. Once 9.
It's with Rob Buchanan, now with Dixon. Onto Wallace, a little skip. Straight into his opposite number there, the captain Mark Wilson. Rory Jackson appears to be over that knock. Tinfisser coming off his win, looking for work. The inside ball that was meant for Clifford, but didn't go to hand.
Move. 2
You
on
could
the
just
ball,
see,
move.
you could just see that inside ball wasn't happening. You could see it was the plan. They'd called it a phase earlier. They wanted to go through with it regardless, but it wasn't on. Never on. It's another coughed up opportunity. Good position for Quins. Good pace on the ball. Too much to expect Clifford to take that.
Yes, he also, I think, through the corner of his eye, could see that Callum Chick knew exactly what was happening. He was waiting for him.
Cheers. Line's yours, please. How many?
And it's not that you're scared
5.
by that or you flinch
5.
at that, it's just that it takes your eyes off it for a millisecond and you lose concentration.
And you know you're on a road to nowhere, or at least running into a cul-de-sac, a human cul-de-sac. Hodgson. There goes Socino, uncompromising. Like a pinball. Godiva. Oh, the tackle looked a bit high from Marchant. From oohs and ahs and even the odd boo, but Ian Tempest is comfortable. There goes Wilson, being held up by Merrick, among others. 12 minutes remain. Hodgson. Here goes Delaney, through the gap. There's Tate. He's got Hogg outside. Little fumble from Hogg, but he gathered it. Can they recycle it now, Newcastle, and kill off the Quins' challenge? Will Whitty's had a good game as the lock forward. One of the youngsters doing so well at Newcastle. Takalua has it. Hodgson. Well, the defence has reassembled. Again, they must try and create something. Well, in the end, and it's been a fairly rare occurrence today, we do have to applaud the quality of the defence from Harlequins. It was scrambling at one point.
This is so nice. Nice ball inside to Delaney. Tate gives this so early. Just gives Morris too much of a chance to get to Hogg. He had to hang on to it. I'm not sure he knew what was behind him, whether Marchant was going to catch him. Perhaps that's what he was worried about. Delaney did beautifully, but again, it's that inside defence from Quins that we saw picked apart in the first half has been picked apart again.
Change.
And it's only indiscipline at the breakdown, I think, from Bobby Vickers on the far side, hitting the deck too early and clearing out Scott Lawson. Let's let Quins off.
Well, Newcastle have won 2 of their 4 home games so far this season in the league. Of the others, they lost to Leicester by just a single point, although they had a chance to take that with that late drop goal, which went astray. And last time here, a couple of weeks ago, they were outplayed by Exeter on their first step to getting back to their best form. There's Chisholm. Dixon. Oh, it's the old fella, Rob Vickers. 35 on Friday, forcing him back. The more youthful legs here of Jack Clifford. Jackson. Well picked up by Aaron Morris, had to gather that at pace around his bootlaces.
Leave it blocked, leave it blocked, leave it blocked.
We're inside the last 10 minutes of the match. 9 points separate the sides. Quins need another score and need it soon to get back within striking distance. Here's Charlie Walker, the live wire through 2 tackles. Rare quality shown there by Walker. They're still going forward. Dixon. There's Jamie Roberts.
Isolated man holding on.
Well, you may well have heard that from the referee. Jamie Roberts found himself out on his own and just had to hold on to it.
We're going to try and play. It's fine.
It's all about really pushing the envelope in that sort of situation, and just pushed it a bit too far.
Well, you can see Roberts doesn't want to hold on to it for that long. He's trying to make it look like he's posting it. Charlie Walker, it's a good case that he should be starting every week. You know, he's so hard to deal with when he's given a yard of space. He's so quick, runs so hard. Here's Roberts. He's pretending to, he is posting that. He's trying to post between his legs, but he's just making it take as long as possible because no one's there with him.
6.
It's the right call.
Okay, I need 6.
Substitution for the Newcastle Falcons coming off.
Mike, just keep the time on for me, please. The time is still off.
Well, Callum Chick has done well today.
4 man.
And has been replaced to...
Come on then, Kingston Park.
replaced by the rather immense Petty Fanua.
2 metres, Dave. In 5. Advantage,
Petty Fanua in his 3rd Aviva Premiership club after making the move from France. Leicester failed to slim him down, but Newcastle have had more success. There he is, Fanua.
20 side entry.
I'm not sure they have had more success, Martin. He looks like he's bigger than my house.
Attendance at Kingston Park, 6,054.
He's the size of a cow, isn't he? He's enormous.
Thank you for your fantastic support.
Doesn't mean you can make offloads like that, though.
And today's Newcastle Falcons man of the match goes to...
Yes, I
Number
remember
12,
rather
Juan
famously when he was
Pablo
playing in
Cicino.
France that Johnny Wilkinson once stopped this fella.
Was that the enormous hit that went viral on social media?
Yeah, it was. Yes,
Okay,
I think Johnny was still feeling it
On
on
the
about
line.
the Wednesday, but
Did Johnny knock him back, or was he the guy that plastered Johnny all over the floor?
I
How
can't
many?
remember which one he was.
No, I
but,
can't
but, he,
remember.
but he got him
6.
down, basically, didn't he?
Dave, just stay
It's
true,
when
mate, don't go
Fanua
early.
was playing for Agen.
To tie his feet together, wouldn't you?
Balls at the front, tackle. Attempt has been made. Now release, it's a tackle, now it's a tackle. It's not a maul, it's a tackle.
Scott Lawson just feeding the ball between his legs to Takalua. Here goes Socino. They're up to the 22 now in Newcastle. Well, good work by Quins. Rather
7
less
10 the
so
ball,
by
Black
Newcastle.
10 metres, you threw the ball away. Back you go.
10 metres. Bit of petulance there from Newcastle.
Hey, Scotty Lawson throwing the ball
13,
away. What do we
no
say about
release.
him being crafty? He's always up to it. The ref to blame him. He says, no, I didn't. Yes, you did. We all saw you. Can't believe he's been done for it. Here he goes.
Time off, 2 block.
There he goes. Little
Change.
push away. What, me? I didn't do anything.
Time back on, Mike. Take the line. Take
Yes,
the
I
line.
think the first shot they took of him
Take
as
the
a
line.
baby looked
How many?
rather like one of those ID
full line.
parades.
Well, yeah, the first shot they took him as a baby looked exactly like he looks now, I expect.
The catch there from Merrick.
Ball. Advantage, 8 side
The
entry.
clock says 6 minutes. It's a penalty here. Newcastle can ill afford discipline. There's the kick over the top. They know they got the penalty coming. This will be popped into the corner. It'll be an attacking line out.
Yeah.
And we'll see if Quins can drive it over to set up what would be a grandstand
8
finish.
side entry.
It's all rather predictable in that respect, isn't it?
Well, they're
Post.
they're 9 behind. They're going
8
for the post,
side
actually.
entry.
They're 9 behind. This, if they get this, it'll take it to 6. Then they go for the try. I don't know. You can do it either way round, couldn't you?
I do sometimes wonder, particularly when you got that amount of time on the clock. Pop it in the corner, go for gold, and then when a defending side knows that the next score wins, you start getting really twitchy, don't you? Anyway, this is the option that Quins have taken. It really means that Rory Jackson has to hit this. Huge kick. He's held his nerve well. The gap is now 6 points.
Penalty by Harlequins.
Why do they cover their mouths like that? It's like the NFL, isn't it? Like we're trying to lip. I think Dean Richards is trying to get a lip reader on John Kingston. I'm not convinced.
Falcons fans, make some noise!
Mike, time off.
Well, I suppose the instruction is when you're
Time back on
taking
kick, please.
special documents into number 10, you take them in an opaque folder. When you're issuing instructions from the side of a pitch in the Aviva Premiership, you do it with your hand over your mouth.
Transparent age, isn't it? The opaque age.
Here's Aaron Morris, upended by Will Whitty. Another tackle for him to
Behind
add
the
to the
ball.
count.
Good.
Been really good, Will Whitty, hasn't he? With the ball and without it, really, really strong.
Dixon pumps it up. Well caught. Newcastle know they just have to do the basic things well now to get across the finish line. There's a Petty Fanua. Takalua, they're out to Marcus Watson. The carry from Ben Sowry is off the bench. Here's Fanua again. Takalua, Marcus Watson. He's taken the ground by Dave Ward, making his 100th appearance of his career for Harlequins. 3.5 minutes remain.
And it's gone back, always backwards. Always backwards.
There's Takalua. Will poke through for Watson.
Brilliant.
Watson takes it. It is that little touch of genius which has decided the contest.
David, check the potential offside, please.
If that's a try, that's genius.
Excuse me. No, we don't do cap and appeal. Back we go.
Well, you do wonder on occasions whether referees just refer this to the TMO so that they can appreciate it. Because that was lovely, wasn't it? Off the outside of the boot. Just look at this. Takalua. Well, he was the hero for Tonga last week when he stroked one off a kicking tee from 40 metres straight in front. This is out of the hands, and that, well, it's Johan Cruyff-like, isn't it?
Me.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Are you happy to go on screen now?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going back, okay? It's a try.
Ian,
Yeah, David?
you may
Yeah, thanks, mate.
award
Yeah.
the try.
Oh, even a dramatic touch from Mr. Grassoff.
We want the TMOs to enjoy their day too, don't we? Easy decision, lovely try. That's the try that seals it. Newcastle have attacked really well today. They made early ground against that up and in defence, that blitz defence of Harlequins out wide, and they've cut them to ribbons when they come back inside. That was just a beautiful piece of skill. That's not about any sort of preparation, that's talent.
Let's consider, David, for a couple of moments just how far Newcastle have come in 12 months. If you turn the clock back, they went through last season not winning a game until they got to round 9. Here they are now. They won twice away from home. This is going to be their third win at home, and this in the end is going to be quite emphatic.
You look at their list of injuries. I was talking to Dean Richards before kick-off. It's a long list of injuries. First choice players not available. This is half a second team, this as well. Really doing things well, especially in attack.
And Mike Delaney, well, perhaps there's a little bit of breeze out there now because he brought that in superbly, but Tani Takalua, for the second straight week, provides the gilt-edge moment, and here it comes.
Have a look at that. Absolutely beautiful. All the wheels in the world, Watson. He could have walked and scored that.
Time on.
I think we might need to remind Dean Richards that he also kicks goals as well, Tani Takalua. He doesn't appear to be on the roster for that role here.
They could use some hand with their goal kicking, couldn't they? The last one was nice from Delaney, but Hodgson hasn't kicked very well tonight.
No, it's certainly an issue. In the past, they've tried with Juan Pablo Socino, haven't they? Mike Delaney's stats are not the best this season. Joel Hodgson, bit hit and miss. Well, let's not grumble too much because Newcastle have really played their part in a hugely entertaining afternoon. They are going to collect the full 5 points. It has been very impressive indeed. Dixon out to Fisser. The inside ball. George Naupu off the bench now for Harlequins. Rory Jackson on to Jack Clifford. Good to see Clifford getting through his second straight stint of 80 minutes after that ankle op. Jamie Roberts. Morris being wrapped up by the captain Wilson among the try scorers.
Not now!
Last 40 seconds of the match. What a showpiece this has been for the Aviva Premiership. The inside ball to Jamie Roberts. They will be aware that a converted try would still deliver their first away league point of the season, so there's still something to play here for the Harlequins. There goes Dave Ward. He's kept hold of the ball. He might have lost his gum shield. Dixon. So it is the final play, unless we get a penalty.
No!
Clifford's played really well, hasn't he? He's on the losing side, and I'm sure a lot of Newcastle players would argue with this, but you'd have to go a long way to find a better player over the course of the 80. Sassino maybe, but Clifford's been outstanding.
Chisholm. No, Poole with the carry. Dixon. Roberts. Visser. Straight through the gap, Visser. Oh, in the end, they haven't got a hand on him. How appropriate that the man who started off his professional career here should have the final say. The conversion will deliver the first league point of the season to Harlequin. So one or two people getting up around us here, David. But of course now that is in fact being their fourth try. That is their first league point. They get another one, of course, for the losing bonus point. So there is going to be something out of this for Harlequins.
It was a really well taken try, but you have a look at Apeti Fanua. We've discussed his heft, his relative heft. He's an enormous guy. He goes too far in defence, and he's just not light enough on his feet to get back in. Evan Olmsted's had a really, really good game in the second row for Newcastle. He can't quite close the gap inside Fanua. Makes it really easy for someone as quick as Visser.
So the Visser try, worth the try bonus point. Can Rory Jackson pick up a second point in defeat?
Yes!
Jackson does it. And that is very appropriate indeed, because Harlequins have played their part. Certainly in the first half, one or two holes open up in the defence, which will give John Kingston perhaps a bit of a sleepless night. But it has been a very entertaining 80 minutes. As for Newcastle, they have made another huge stride forward. It's their third home win of the season, and they're now, dare I say, and say it softly, looking like candidates, possibly, for a place in Europe's senior competition next season. Full-time score at Kingston Park. Newcastle 38, Harlequins 32.